Okay, so today we're jumping into a really powerful framework for, well, staying human in this crazy, fast-paced world we're all living in. It's basically a map for navigating that feeling of overwhelm that I think so many of us know, and it comes from the incredible work of Renee Francis Kahn.
And you know, this whole thing really starts from a very human, very vulnerable place. It's all captured in this one idea, that our deepest struggles, our wounds, often hold the very key to our greatest gifts.
And I want to be really clear. This isn't some abstract metaphor. The story behind this work, the thing that kicked it all off, was a literal life-or-death medical crisis.
So, what started as a deeply personal collapse turned into something much bigger, a kind of summons. While she was in that coma, the author had this moment of just intense clarity. She realized that all the ideas and frameworks she'd been working on for years couldn't just die with her. They had to get out into the world.
And this is the incredible part. When she woke up, her mission was crystal clear. It wasn't about her anymore. It was this driving purpose. The wound, the coma, it wasn't the end of her story. It was the urgent call to start sharing it. And right from that urgency, this powerful new way of seeing the world was born.
What's so powerful here is that her own crisis gave her this incredible lens to see a crisis we're all in, this massive disconnect that pretty much all of us feel, even if we don't really have the words for it.
Well, here are the words for it. The coherence gap. You know that feeling, right? That feeling of being totally out of sync? Like you're constantly running to keep up with a world that's just moving way faster than our nervous systems were ever designed to handle? That's it. It's the fundamental mismatch of our time.
So, does any of this look familiar? Chronic overwhelm, decision fatigue, just feeling disconnected? Look, if you're nodding along, it's not a personal failure. It's a systemic problem. These are the direct symptoms of living inside that coherence gap.
And here's a perfect example of how this plays out in our culture. Just think about the word influence. It used to mean something like integrity, wisdom you actually earned. Now, it just means you're good at capturing attention. We've basically swapped out elders for entertainers, and our whole system can feel how hollow that is.
All right, so that's the problem. And it's a pretty big one. So what do we do about it? Well, this framework gives us an answer by reintroducing us to 4 different kinds of intelligence. It's like an architecture for our inner world.
And believe it or not, it all boils down to this simple but incredibly profound equation. This right here is the map back to coherence. So let's break down what each of these actually means.
Okay, first up, somatic intelligence, or SI1. This is your body's truth. It's that gut feeling, that instant sensation. A tightening in your chest, a sudden calm. It's the one part of you that literally cannot lie, and yet most of us have been taught our whole lives to just ignore it.
Next, we have spiritual intelligence, or SI2. And look, this isn't about religion. Think of it more like your soul's compass. It's that quiet, steady knowing deep down, that little voice that tells you something is right or wrong long before your brain can figure out why. But man, it is easily drowned out by all the noise.
Then, of course, there's human intelligence, HI, the one we're all very familiar with. This is our thinking mind, our logic. But here's the key. Its real job isn't to be the dictator running the whole show. Its job is to integrate the wisdom it gets from your body and your soul. And finally, we get to the new kid on the block, algorithmic intelligence, AI. But this framework sees AI not as a threat, but as a potential companion, a tool, a mirror that can help us organize our thoughts and take some of the pressure off, freeing up our human mind to do its real work. So, that's the theory. But how do we actually put this into practice? Well, there's a circuit for that, a really clear, practical process for bringing all 4 of these intelligences online and getting them to work together.
It's a simple 4-step loop. First, you feel. You check in with your body. No story, just sensation. Second, you listen. You tune in to that inner compass. What feels true? Third, you think. Now your mind gets to work, but with really good data from the first 2 steps. And finally, you reflect. Maybe using a tool like AI to spot patterns. Feel, listen, think, reflect. It's a circuit.
And this is so important. This practice doesn't just change you on the inside. It's not about you just feeling better in a vacuum. When you become coherent, that energy actually radiates. It has a real impact on the world around you.
And I just love this quote because it captures the goal so perfectly. It's not about being the loudest person in the room. It's about being quiet, steady, and useful, a source of light for others, just by being grounded in your own truth.
And then the vision gets even bigger. So, one coherent person is a lighthouse. Cool, but what happens when you get a network of them? An entire archipelago of lighthouses? Well, they can do more than just light the way. They can start to reorient our entire culture, and maybe, just maybe, spark a whole new kind of renaissance.
And so that really leaves us with this one big question to sit with. In a world that's obsessed with moving faster and faster, what actually becomes possible in your own life, in our communities, in the world, when you make the choice to close that coherence gap and reclaim what it truly means to be fully human?